What's up, everybody? I'm Simon Sabro, and today I'm just going to be showing y'all my manga collection, so let's just get right into it. So the first manga on my shelf is Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin, 1 through 12 complete, and to be honest with y'all, I really haven't even read it yet, but I really like Gundam as a whole off of just the anime, and I have seen the anime for this one already, and I really enjoyed it, and I'd recommend giving a show a watch. But the manga is just so clean, like the covers, the art, the spines in it, everything in it is just so clean, and I really can't wait to start reading it, honestly. But after that we have 20th Century Boys 1 through 11 complete, and 21st Century Boys all in the perfect edition, and that's all by Naoki Urasawa, which is one of my favorite mangaka. Another manga we have up here is Mujirushi, The Sign of Dreams, also by Urasawa. We also got Pluto 1 through 8 complete. Pluto is that's a good manga right there. That's a real good manga. Then we got Sneeze, which is a short story collection by Urasawa, and Asadora Volume 1 and 2. And I really need to get the next 2 volumes for it, but so far I really enjoy it. It's Urasawa's newest work. I'd recommend checking it out if you're new to Urasawa. The next manga we have is Goodnight Punpun by Inio Asano, 1 through 7 complete. And it's still got the plastic on. Y'all can see I really haven't read it yet, but I can't wait to start reading that one too. Coming down here, we got some more works by Inio Asano. We have A Girl on the Shore, Downfall, and Solanin, all by Inio Asano. And all of these are just one story in one book. So it's not a whole series, it's just the one volume. But after that we got All You Need Is Kill, which is drawn by the same person who drew Death Note. And All You Need Is Kill, if you've ever seen the movie The Edge of Tomorrow, they're both based off of the same thing. But yeah, we got Death Note here 1 through 6 complete in the black editions. Then we have Platinum End here, volumes 1 through 13. Not complete. I'm waiting on it, volume 14, which is the last volume, but it's also made by the same duo that made Death Note, and it actually has an anime going on right now. I'd recommend checking it out. It's cool so far, but I'd recommend the manga over the anime. After that we have School Judgment, which the writer for School Judgment wasn't the same person who made Death Note, but the artist is. Then after that we have One Punch Man 1 through 23, which is up to date. And man, I don't even gotta try and recommend One Punch Man to y'all. It's great, man. It's great. If for whatever reason you haven't checked out One Punch Man yet, I'd really recommend doing so, especially the manga. The art style in here by Yusuke Murata is impressive, to say the least. After that we have Call the Night volume 1 through 4, which is also up to date. And if you've ever seen Dagashi Kashi, it's written by the same person who made that, and it's a pretty cool manga so far. It's a little rom-com. It's all right. After that we have 1 through 21 of Bleach, which is not all of Bleach, of course, but I'm waiting to get the box sets for the other two, the other 2 box sets for Bleach. And Kubo is actually one of my favorite mangaka as well, and Bleach is one of my favorite series of all time. After that we have Dead Man Wonderland 1 through 13 complete. Then we have Zombie Powder 1 through 4, which is complete as well, but this manga was actually canceled, and it came before Bleach, but it's written by the same person, and it got canceled by Shonen Jump. I'd still recommend checking it out, but it's cool. It's cool. After that we have Black Torch 1 through 5 complete, which is another manga by Shonen Jump that got canceled, and I personally had a lot of hope for this book. The art in it is phenomenal, man. The art is really good. The story was pretty cool. It wasn't really anything too original, but I'd still recommend checking it out if anything. But I think right now the first 2 volumes for it are kind of hard to find. After that we have Siren 1 through 16 complete. This is another one of my favorite manga of all time, and I'd recommend it, actually. I'd really recommend it. But for some reason lately, I've been seeing Siren going out of stock in a bunch of different places. It just got super popular out of nowhere. And some of the volumes, like this volume 8 here, are pretty hard to find right now. But if you could get your hands on it, it's a good read. It's worth it. After that, we have volumes 1 through 4 of Livingstone, which is drawn by the same person who drew Dead Man Wonderland, and the art in it is solid. It's solid. It's a nice little story. I'd recommend checking it out. I'd definitely recommend checking it out. But I think volume 3 for it right now is also hard to find. After that, we have Spy Family, volumes 1 through 6, which is up to date. And Spy Family, this is a manga. It's a really good manga. I'd recommend it to really anybody, whether you're new or a veteran in manga. I'd recommend it. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got romance, comedy, action. It's got everything in it. I definitely recommend it. After that, coming down here, we have Rohan at the Louvre by Hidehiko Araki, which is, I know I said it a lot now, but another one of my favorite mangaka. And we have volume 1 of part 1 JoJo. I gotta get the next 2 volumes for it, but I'm not really in any rush for it. And then all of part 2 JoJo complete. After that, we have Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt, volumes 1 through 4. And Thunderbolt, man, this is such a good series, man. This is such a good series, and the covers for it are really cool. The art in here is phenomenal, man. The art is extremely good. After that, we have Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead, volume 1 through 3, which I believe is up to date right now. And Zom 100, I really like this manga. It's a really interesting take on a zombie story, and it's really interesting. Even if you're not really a fan of zombie stories, I'd still recommend it, just because of how different it is from other zombie stories. And there's just a couple of the covers. Yeah, it's a really cool series. Another one, Raw Hero. This is a nice comedy series, a really good comedy series. Every page I read is funny. Unfortunately, I can't show y'all any of the pages because some real explicit content in here, but it's written by the same person who did Prison School. And if you ever seen Prison School, if you know, you know. It's hilarious, man. After that, we have Can't Stop Cursing You, which is a manga I really don't see much people talking about, and it's really good. It's if you like cat and mouse stories like Death Note, I definitely recommend it. The art in here and the story is really good, and just in volume 1, it finishes a whole story arc, so it's not like you're left on a cliffhanger or anything. It's really good. But I think the volume 2's been getting delayed for a while now. After that, we have MPD Psycho 1 through 6 complete, and not complete, sorry. This series is actually discontinued by Dark Horse, and it has 11 volumes in English, I believe, and 24 in Japan. But yeah, it got discontinued by Dark Horse. I'm not sure why. I really enjoyed this series, and I'd recommend it. It's out of print, so it's a little hard to find, but I definitely recommend this series if you could read it. Unfortunately, you'll never really be able to read the ending for it. But after that, we have Gantz G, volumes 1 through 3 complete. And this is by Hiroya Oku, but the art for it is not by Hiroya Oku, but they do a really good job of making it look similar to Oku's art. And if you enjoyed Gantz, or even if you don't know about Gantz at all, I'd still recommend this because these 3 volumes do really well. After that, we have Gigant, volumes 1 through 5, which is not up to date. I need to get volume 6, and I can't show y'all anything inside of it, but it's also by Hiroya Oku. It's not really that good of a series, I'll be honest, but it's funny. It's definitely funny. After that, we have Batum 1 through 26, Light and Dark, and that's complete. And Batum is one of the first few manga I've ever read, And I really just wanted to have this manga on my shelf. I'll be honest. Most of the volumes are still in plastic, so I haven't read the physicals yet, but I really enjoyed Batum, and I'd definitely recommend it. It does have an anime. I think it's 13 episodes. I'd recommend checking it out. It's a battle royale style of manga. After that, we have A School Frozen in Time, volumes 1 through 3, which is up to date, but this manga is by the same duo that made Your Lie in April. But I might be wrong, but I think this actually came out before Your Lie in April, but it's only now getting published. But it's a really interesting mystery story. I'd recommend it to some. Imperfect Girl Volume 1 by Nishio Ishin. There's 4 volumes for this total. And Nishio Ishin is actually the same person who wrote the Monogatari series, if you've ever seen it. But I haven't really read this manga either. I just really like the art in it. And the cover and title is pretty interesting, so that's why I bought it. After that, we have Super Dimensional Love Gun by Shintaro Kago, which is a short story collection. And this short story collection is really weird. I'm gonna make a video, hopefully be able to make a video about it later, going more in depth, but it's all right. It's pretty cool. Coming down here, we have 2 art books, being the Bleach art book and the Junji Ito one. Then we have a whole bunch of Junji Ito here. I'm not gonna list every name, but I really like Junji Ito's work, but mostly his short story collections, but in his short stories, you know, there's some are hit, some are miss, but I like Junji Ito. After that, we have Ibitsu, which is this 1 volume. This is everything for it. I really enjoyed Ibitsu. I'm probably gonna make a video on it later, hopefully, but I really do like the story of it, and the art in it is cool. It's another horror manga, and I really like it. After that, we have Volume 1 of Dog Ningen, the first print edition, before they had to change the name. And this is a really good story. I'd recommend it. I need to get more volumes for it. Then we have My Broken Mariko, which this is a really good story that I also don't really see much people talk about. The art style for it isn't the best, but the story carries it really, really nicely, and I'd recommend it. It's about a character named Mariko who commits suicide, and the main character starts to learn why her friend Mariko did it, and we're learning about it at the same time that the main character is, and it's a really good story. After that, we have Blade of the Immortal 1 through 5. I need to get the next 5 volumes. I really like Blade of the Immortal. If you don't know about it, it's a revenge story with an immortal samurai. That's really all you need to know. But the art in here is really, really good. And the fight scenes and everything in it is really good. I'd also recommend it. After that, we have volume 1 through 10 of Ikigami, The Ultimate Limit, which is complete. Now, I personally have not read it yet, but I do like the art, and the premise of the story is really good. So that's really why I have it. I really want to read it sometime soon. Hopefully I can get around to it. After that, we have volumes 1 through 5 of Happiness. Not 1 through 5, 1 through 10 of Happiness, but I'm missing volume 8. But Happiness, and I really like this manga. The covers for it are really beautifully drawn, and it's a manga that's very similar to Tokyo Ghoul, and it's by Shuzo Oshimi, who does a lot of thriller manga as well as like coming of age stories, and it's really interesting. And I've only read the first 4 volumes for it, but I really enjoyed those 4 volumes, and even just off of that, I'd recommend it. So Then we have The Flowers of Evil Complete, 1 through 4 complete editions. And this is another manga by Shuzo Oshimi, which is another coming of age story. And the art isn't really, it's simple, but it works really well with the type of story that this is. This story really isn't for everybody, but it's a nice thriller and coming of age story, just like Happiness. But I think The Flowers of Evil definitely touches on some more sensitive topics. Then we have Volume 1 of Number 5 by Taiyu Matsumoto, which is the same person who made Ping Pong, if you've ever heard of it. And his art style is really, really unique. And it's not for everybody. His art style is not for everybody. It takes a while to get used to, but his stories are really, really good. And I'd recommend it just off of the first volume. I really need to get volume 2 for it. After that, we have Portis, which is just a single volume, and I'm probably gonna make a video about this as well. I really like this manga. It's really interesting, really weird. The art for it is very detailed, and I like it. It's a good little book. After that, we have all of Eye Shield 21, volumes 1 through 37 complete. And Eye Shield 21, for those who don't know, the art is done by the same person who does the art in One Punch Man, and the story is by the same person who does the story in Dr. Stone. And it's a manga about football, and I personally am not a fan of football, but this story is really good and it captivates me, honestly. So I'd recommend it. It's also out of print, but I'd recommend it. And lastly, we have all of the Gantz, not all of it, but volumes 1 through 5 of the Gantz Omnibus, also by Hiroya Oku. And I'd recommend this manga to the older audience. It's really good. It's a sci-fi horror story. It's another one of those death game stories. It's got just about everything in it. And yeah, that's all of my manga. That's my whole manga collection, man. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Hit the subscribe bell to see more, and leave some manga recommendations down in the comments below. But this is Simon Sabro signing out. I'll catch y'all in the next one.